Oh, they were over there.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness, the top came off. Yeah, no, like,
Oh no, we're not all standing in the back order.
and then I'll go stand around you.
Sure. Semicircle is the best, I would say.
Okay, we'll stand
We're
semicircle.
going to do them right. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay, this is a little bit loud. We're gonna sing this morning, or this afternoon, the Women's Warrior song. And this was written by Martina Pierre from the Lillooet Nation. And this song, when we sing it, it's about what it means to be women warriors. And so we ask all of you to stand if you're able to sing this song. If you know it, join in, and we'll sing it together. And if you don't, that's okay, you'll catch on. So this next song, me and Marlene are gonna do it together because, as you probably saw, we got to walk the stage on Thursday, and it was a beautiful honor. And I know that me and Marlene have been drumming sisters in spirit, but we haven't got to drum together. And so this is an exciting opportunity. And for me, this song is called the Pomo Bear Chant. So this song is by Brooke Medicine Eagle, and it is a song about rebirth and about stepping into a new generation, a new step. So sometimes it's sung at actual birth, and sometimes it is sung at graduations. So I often sing this at different grad ceremonies. And Marlene would like to say something because she could tell she's got it on her tip of her tongue.
Not only have we not had the chance to drum together, I've never had the chance to drum. So this is a gift from my Kogaterp. So if there's mistakes made on the drumming, talk to Mike.
No mistakes in drumming.
Thank you, Mackenzie. What a beautiful way to bring us together. I do have announcements just before Hannah comes and introduces our speaker for this afternoon. There are some people that are from south of the imaginary 49th parallel that are traveling back. Actually, the 49th parallel is not imaginary. It's just the border that we've created there. But we recognize that in this day and age, there are concerns for those that are traveling and returning back home. And so I'm going to ask Adrian if he would come and pray for safety for those that are traveling and to make sure that things go smoothly as they return home. And as he's coming to do that prayer, there are photos of Wendy Peterson at the back that are made available for anybody that would like to take them. I think Nicole had announced that just as people were coming up. But if you want to take a photo of Wendy that maybe has you in it, feel more than free to do that. Also, the keys, if you have keys, you can return them at any time to the desk where they'll collect them. So thank you, Adrian, for coming to pray.
Our Creator, we're just thankful for the community of creation, the circle that is here. Thank you that you brought us safely from the four directions. You've refreshed us, you've helped us, you've taken care of us, you've healed us, you have fed us well, and we are so thankful for it. And our happiness brings a smile to your face, so we're glad about that. And we're thankful that as we go from this place as well, whenever we go, that we go in your good care as well. The same kind of care that brought us to this place, the care of our mother, the earth, the care of our ancestors, the care of our spiritual leaders. And we're thankful for that same care carrying us to the places where we come from and to the communities that we are part of. We're glad that the good work that you've started in us, you said that you would always complete that you would continue to work with us and help us. So for every individual here, and every group, and every journey that is represented as people go to their home, whether it's near or far, whether it's on land or over the waters or in the air, we're just knowing that we never are away from your presence. The Holy Spirit is certainly in every place. Your love is in every place, and your protection is everywhere. Your provision is everywhere. And we're just glad to be able to be a part of this gathering, and we're looking forward to all that you do to help us as we travel and continue to surround us with your grace, that we would continue in your strength and in your will and in your purpose. And we're glad to be able to pray together. We're thankful for Jesus. We're thankful for the fact that he gave everything and that every good and perfect gift comes down from God, from heaven, from you. And we're thankful that you never leave us nor forsake us, including in all of the journeys of our life. And we're glad for it all. In Jesus' name, amen.
Kia ora, everybody. It's my privilege to introduce our next speaker and his family. Our final session together, and it's going to be a really special one. So I might just start, Nathan, and you guys can get yourself sorted and come up when you're ready. So Nathan Schrieber. For the last 12 years, Nathan has been revitalising and teaching Gunggay Language across 2 campuses of Yarrabah State School. His bloodline stems from the Gurugulu and Gurubana clan groups of Bama Gunggandji of Yarrabah in far north Queensland. With the blessing of his elders, Nathan is entrusted with the process of revitalisation and transmission of their language, stories, and songlines. Nathan's grandmother's passion for preservation of his culture, or their culture, has directed his path. Her words are always in his heart. And I'm going to try and say this precious phrase that his grandmother would say to him. Ngudju, binanga, nyundu, djabumu, Gunggay Bama gabay. You must never forget where you come from and who you are. Please join me in welcoming Nathan Schrieber.
Wanjira, ngayo bokol Bama waguja, jajinji, ngajen bol Gurugulu, Gurubana, Gunggandji, ngayo ngajen kare-kare, guron gapai kadan, yingo jabu, yiyi, ngajen waluburi, nginyu, ngayo kadan, ngali Bama kadan. Yingo bol ngapi-ngapi, waluburi, mugo nyinan, yiyi. Gaya baro guring, yorno ngaca, mukoi guring. Gaya bara nyundu walapuri, pude yingo jabu, Mississauga, Anishinaabe, Chippewa, Haudenosaunee, Wendat, First Nation, Inuit, Métis, Yi. I'll talk some English now and explain what I'm talking about. I won't talk my language right through. So just in opening, just letting you know who I am and who my people are, my family, and where we've come from. That's our protocol. We must do that, and we must acknowledge country here and the old people from this area. We are visitors, and we must show that respect. Telling you that my Creator is good. He goes by many names across many different nations, but in our language we call him Yarrabah. He's always been with our people from the beginning, even today, and always into the future. He'll be with us. I'm also, in my opening, acknowledging all the peoples of this country as we are visiting, and I hope I didn't offend anyone with my pronunciation. I tried very hard to get it right, but I'm getting a few thumbs up, so that's good. But yeah, as you can see on the map there, just like Use Mob, you got big mob here where we come from. We got big mob where we come from as well. And I'm here as a representative of my people, Bama Gunggandji, both the Gurugulu and the Gurubana clan groups, to share with you in the legacy of Ngajin Babim Balawupi, my grandmother, matriarch of my family. This is a legacy that's been passed down the generations in my family, and I've been given permission to share the history of Balawupi by the elders of my community in Yarrabah. And on that map there you see the arrow that's where we are, that's our community. Population of about 5,000. On our Australian census it says 3,000, but a lot of our families still living out in the bush, along the coastline and in their little humpies, so they don't usually come in and get on the roll. After sharing this story, the best way for me to share this story is to show you in action. And I'll show you the effect of what Balawupi has had on my community and my family specifically. But in order to share this story, I need to provide some context of where we come from. So if you look to the next slide here, I say to you in my language, Bama Gunggandji of Yarrabah, some slides from our home marking, or the land markers that describe our home. Wunyami Gungari, Gupubara Naga, Panagulogolo Ngara, Gingara, Gua, Yingobulma Ngaji Jabu. This is an aerial view of our community, but the four land markers, so the north, east, south, and west, describe our country. Just to show you where we're from. You got beautiful country here, and just want to show you, we've got beautiful country too, where we come from. When I see these pictures, it shows me my stories, my songlines, my sacred places, my people. We've lived in our country from the beginning of time in harmony with the Creator and His creation. Like I said, we call Him Gayabara. Generation after generation, it remained this way until our way of life was significantly altered by this man. In 1892, Reverend John Brown Gribble applied to the Queensland government to establish an Anglican mission on our country. He proposed for an isolated 89 square kilometre coastal strip to be set aside and serve the purpose of accommodating displaced Aboriginal peoples from various parts of Queensland due to the destructive nature of colonisation that was rampant and out of control by this time it reached far north Queensland. The agreement proclaimed this area of land as an Aboriginal reserve. Not long after this arrangement was settled, Reverend Gribble became sick, too sick to continue, and so he handed over his important work to his son, Ernest Gribble. In our word, we have a language word in our, from Yarrabah, and this word is Yarrabah, and it has two meanings. One is the flight of our sea hawk as it comes down to land along our beachfront, our coastal area. Another meaning of this word is a meeting place. And this word was anglicised or Englishized to Yarrabah, and that's what everybody knows it today. But the original word from our people is Yarrabah. It's a meeting place, because this is where Gribble met our people, continually meeting them, gradually building trust in order to bring them in and establish the mission. Of course, to us it was just home. In order for you to fully understand the effect of my matriarch Balawupi, I need to show you what were her influencing factors. What drove her to be the person she was? And it starts with this person here. The language name is, I'll pronounce it for you, Dunkabolo. My great-great-great-grandmother. She's pictured in this, sitting in the front row with the bag covering her head. Very, very resistant to the missionary and the white fellas and to the new ways that were being brought into our community. So she chose to cover herself in this photo. She was the mother of Mirmanai, one of the first Gungandji leaders, my great-great-grandfather. She always camped outside the mission, the confines of the mission. She objected strongly to the mission and said it would make our young people, our young folk, too much like whitefella. She stood her ground, for she knew who she was. There was no need for her to change any of the ancient ways that made ample provision for Gurugulu and for her ancestral lineage since the beginning of time. One year prior to the establishment of Yarrabah Mission, in 1891, my great-grandfather here, Merrimanai, was baptised by Reverend John Gribble, and it was outside of our mission. It wasn't actually in our country. He was given the name John Barlow, and that was probably after the bishop of that time, the Anglican bishop, that Barlow name. That's where it comes from. After 18 months of cautiously coming and going, it was Merrimanai who led a large group of my old people to come into the mission. He did so after witnessing the destructive impact that Badal Bama, the white people, were having on neighbouring Aboriginal group, our neighbours, we call them Yirinji. 7 years later, in 1899, Merrimanai became King John and head of a government of 12 elders of the church at Yarrabah. He served his people with integrity and pride until in 1921 he returned to Buluru, our sacred place. Where we come from, we return to. 1 year after his passing, in 1922, Merrimanai's son, Merrimanai's son, Mayawi, his English name, Albert Mayawi Barlow, became the next in line to hold the title of king in Yarrabah. My younger son continues this name, and it's his language name, not the English name, Mayawi, not Mayawi. He was born before the arrival of white men in Yarrabah, and as he grew up, became a Christian through Ernest Gribble. His language name, Mayawi, it means calm or soothing. He was described as a very gentle man with long patience and an innate ability to code switch between Gunggay and English, which helped him maintain good relations amongst the Yarrabah community, which was now home to many different Aboriginal groups, not just Gunggay. He also served the church by leading services at outstations around the community, such as Gupubara, one of the previous pictures I showed you, Fitzroy Island. We had a small outstation there, and a church was set up there. In 1952, Mayawi also returned to Buluru, our sacred place. As some time passed before the title was passed down, in 1977, the year in which I was born, at the insistence of her people, my grandmother, Balawupi, or English name Lorna, was anointed Queen of Yarrabah by the Anglican Bishop of North Queensland. She was one of the last Gungandji speakers and custodians, and helped record traditional songs and stories. She was always encouraging Karikari, our children, to speak Gunggay language, and was instrumental in the preservation of her ancestral Gunggay cultural knowledge. Balawupi was brought up in the girls' dormitory between the ages of 10 and 16 until 1942, when Yarrabah parents successfully appealed to the Bishop of North Queensland to allow their children to live at home with them. After a short time, she married my grandfather, Nathan Schrieber. If you're thinking that sounds German, it's because it is. And there's a story to that too. My grandfather became Yarrabah overseer while she worked in the welfare clinic. They moved out of community, and in doing so, they had to get an exemption certificate approved by the protector in order to move. They moved to Cairns to give their children better schooling opportunities. They were given a large government house and fostered Aboriginal children from all over Queensland who were then able to attend town school. Even though the Anglican Church was a major influence on Balawupi, she always was an advocate for her culture and her people. She saw the parallels between our ancient cultural values and what was being taught in the Bible. Even though Balawupi lived under different circumstances to that of her great-grandmother Dunkubulu, She knew the importance of remaining true to ourselves, who we really are, remaining the way the Creator made us. And as you can see in this picture here, taking the time to sit with our elders in her time to learn our ways. In this particular material, they're using a material we call yakal in our language. It's a pandanus leaf. This particular style was introduced by Torres Strait Islanders that were moved from their homelands way further north of us, forcibly moved in when they brought with them their knowledge. So still using our materials and that knowledge being passed down. Balawupi is pictured on the right, sitting with all of her elders. Two across from her is her mother, Granny Lottie. Her language name, Bayingo. And she comes from, not from Yarrabah, but from another place further north of us, Koko Taipan country. Koko Yimite country. Her husband comes from Koko Taipan country. Balawupi's dream was to teach all the children about Gunggay language and culture. She visited the Yarrabah Primary School many times, also visiting Gimwe or Cairns, the neighbouring Aboriginal group, to teach culture, where she was welcomed. As an advocate for Gunggay people, she was instrumental in the repatriation of Gunggay Wallaburi, our old people. The remains were taken to overseas museum. This was one of my first spiritual experiences. It happened in the second photo, to your right. Yeah, to your right. That's my brother featured in that photo, my older brother, and it was him who reminded me of this experience. After we'd done our ceremony at the airport, at the international airport, once we'd concluded everything, big rain cloud come across and dumped all the rain. As we carried ngudju Wallaburi back to our country, because we were off country in Gimwe, our neighbours, where the international airport is, as we carried Wallaburi back to Bama Yarrabah, that rain cloud followed us all the way. When I spoke to Balawupi about it, she said that was country, calling family home. When Wallaburi returned to Buluru, our sacred place, the title was passed first to her son, Ngudju Baibi, my uncle, until 1992, when he also returned to Buluru. My older brother now, Jaban, received his title in 2011. So, how has the legacy of Balawupi affected me? This is what I've come to share. 3 stages of my life I want to share with you in this presentation. The first stage is Wangari, as a young man, primary school, or I don't know what you call it, elementary here? Yeah, like up to the age of 12. As a young boy, we lived 5 houses apart from Balawupi in Cairns, off country. Our visits between houses were frequent. Some of these were planned as big family gathering nights, but usually it was just us mob yarning about Bible stories and singing worship songs. It was in these times we got to ask questions about who is Jesus, because Balawupi knew him, and she really knew him. She spoke of him as someone with great knowledge and understanding of who we are as Bama Gunggay. She spoke of him as a real person who we could confide in and ask for help in any situation. The next stage of my life is what we call workon, and this is coming to teenage years, as up to 18 years of age. My strongest memory of Balawupi in this time of my life was when I learnt Warma Damri. Warma for us means to dance, our style. And Damri, this dance of Damri is a very, very old dance which has stopped being performed in public. It tells the creation story of one of the two brothers that shaped not only our seasons from where we come from, but our kinship system. The teachings that Walaburi gave me will always remain in the way that I live my life today. The next stage in my life is what we call wagoja, coming into manhood. Going through university for my teaching degree, I had the realization that my ancestors spoke Gunggay language, but I could not. And I remember asking myself, why was this my reality? In this moment, I began my journey in which I'm currently on, which is revitalising my language for my people. And the more I reflect on this moment in my life, I realise it was Balawupi calling me to action. This is the current stage of my life now, Nganda. I have my wife and I have my children. I think about how am I to continue the legacy Balawupi gave to me? And this is what comes to mind. My foundation is my strength. I am Bama Gunggandji, Gurugulu, Gurubana. I am the product of my ancestors. All of their strength, all of their struggles, all of their wisdom and knowledge. And this gives me power to make change for good for my people. I do what I do in the hope that my community will see this power in action. It is a power not belonging to me, not created by me, established long before my time, but it is still here in this present time. I have access to this power only because my grandmother, Balawupi, taught me. In this present day, there is so much distraction and temptation, but I will carry this power and continue to embrace it to benefit my people. It is only through my lineage that I have become an Indigenous languages activist, a cultural practitioner, and an agent of change for future generations. Yalagunda means here, now, today, in the present. I can't move forward without looking back. So, I just need a drink. I'm getting a bit dry up here. Sorry. I can't move forward without first looking back. So, for this next part, I'm going to quote my grandmother, Balawupi. These are her words, and these were spoken a long time ago. Ngajin babam yangajan. This is what she said. Christianity is an in-between thing for us, Bama Gunggay. Although a lot of our people, they all come to Christianity, they know all about Christianity, and yet their Bible ways tell you of our background in a lot of ways. They don't say it, but it's acted out. I know for myself, I love my tradition, and I know if someone is talking, telling a story about the Bible, my traditional part will come in with it. We usually put the stories together and look into ourselves. Sometimes their ways matches ours, but in a different way. Ngajin Balawupi lived a life where culture and tradition ran in parallel with the teachings of the Bible. I am by no means at her level of understanding, but I have come to share with you what I've learned so far on my journey. The way I do it will be through song and dance. So before I ask my family to join me, I know in the program originally when I submitted, it was to be for me and my Galungi, my daughter, to present. But we've been blessed on this trip to bring all of our family. You know, sometimes when Yarrabah, I say it like this, sometimes when doors open, you have to walk through them. And you all know what I mean. Yarrabah has made that way for my family to be here. So in this instance, they'll all join me. Before inviting them up, I must give this first song. This song is called Bimbi Walpa. And this song, my grandmother wrote this song. To explain the meaning of it, this is her, in lack of better words, this is her dreaming, her vision. And in this, the songline of this particular song, she talks about her father sitting in a cave, and he's shaping a very sacred implement of ours, which we call balor. It's a curved woomera. In our custom, that woomera was only given to special people because it had such power. And so the songline talks about Bama Gunggandji of Yarrabah, the many stories and the way in which we transfer them from generation to generation. And the reason behind why Balawupi wrote this song was to explain that everything that she learned has come from her father, and it must repeat, that cycle must repeat. The knowledge that we hold, we must give it to our next generation, our karikari, because if we don't, the link is broken. To explain this next dance and to see the full effect of what Balawupi has had on my life and my community life, the image you see on the screen is the effect. We still practice our culture and we pass on to the next generation. In this gathering that you see on the screen is a very large festival that's held biannually up in the Cape York, in a place called Luru or Laura, and all different Aboriginal communities from all around that area are invited in to celebrate and to continue practicing our songlines and our dance, and to share not only with each other but with our karikari, our children. This next dance, if I can explain it, Bama Gunggay, we have stories of law, L-O-R-E, not English L-A-W, our law. Our Gunggay stories talk about, for us, we talk about Damri, Koyala. As I said earlier, the two brothers that established our kinship system. Our cultural laws and practices are transmitted orally through nyundu, talking, and through song, kawal, when we sing. But these laws, they dictate our social behaviour, our responsibilities, and our relationship. This song, and as I ask my family to come now, this song we first give back to our Creator, Yarrabah, because without Him, we have no law, we have no Jabu country, we have no Bama people, we have nothing. Everything is His, including this first dance. yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para. Mama mena gaya para, mama wawal gaya para, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para. Grrrr. Ah. Hi. 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 Hey, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para. Mama mena gaya para, mama wawal gaya para, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para. Ah! Hi. 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 Hey, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para. Mama mena gaya para, mama wawal gaya para, yanonganan gaya para, yanonganan gaya para. Ah! Hi. 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 Just as we pass down our stories orally, my question to you all before the Bible was born, how did the message get spread? Orally, yeah? The next dance we'd like to do, this one is called Mai Dukol. In this dance, as I was saying, Gunggay kinship defines our social structure, fostering a strong sense of community and mutual obligation. In this dance, we talk about the transmission of knowledge from generation to generation, coming down the female line. In our culture, we have men's business and women's business. And this dance is all about women's business. It talks about our women going out, collecting mai, bush food. Very, very important role. They have a very, very well-respected role within our community. Following our seasons, men go out hunting in a particular season, but throughout the entire year, women are always gathering, always producing food, mai, for our people. In this dance, you'll see the transmission of knowledge going from Balawupi down to the mothers, down to the daughters, and down, further down the generation. Because as they go, they'll go and collect bush food and teach and learn all about which one's in season, which one's good, which one's for medicine, which ones will keep us and sustain us. Pardon me, I just need another drink. Sorry. Ya bro kumba mai dukul, ya bro kumba ngapi mai dukul. Ya bro kumba mai dukul, ya bro kumba ngapi mai dukul. Ya bro kumba mai dukul, ya bro kumba ngapi mai dukul. Ya bro kumba mai mai doko, ya burukuma ngapi ngapi mai doko. Ah, eh, 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 eh. Ya burukuma mai doko, ya burukuma ngapi ngapi mai doko. Ya burukuma mai doko, ya burukuma ngapi ngapi mai doko. Ya burukuma mai doko, ya burukuma ngapi ngapi mai doko. Ya burukuma mai doko, ya burukuma ngapi ngapi mai doko. Ah, My question before moving on to you out there in the audience, is community a foundational teaching of the Bible? Yes? Yes. We're called to look after one another, care for one another. Just like in that dance. Ngapi gumba, ngapi galngir, ganagaling, mai dukol, garanjinan. They go out, grab that mai, bring it back for everybody. Our next dance, we call ngudju in our language. This is the dance of the rainbow serpent. Talks about Gunggay Jabu being alive, must be respected, must be cared for. When ngudju came and created a lot of our waterways, he made them for us to use, but to look after, to care for, make sure they are sacred. All water for us is sacred. It's not merely a resource, but it also has very strong spiritual significance. Like I said with Damri and Guyala, our first answers, when they went through naming land, establishing our law, they were creating in us a deep connection between us and our land. Ngudju. Once again, I put this question to you. In the Bible, what is the importance of having connection to land? Is there a connection? It's talked about all throughout the scriptures of the Bible. There's a promised land. Ye. The last dance we will do for you, this one in language, this is another one of my grandmother's songs. And this one we call Mulan Gatan. In this one, my grandmother says, for us not to be afraid of the spirit world. Our ancestors still walk on country, and they'll continue to look out for us, look after us when we are on country. We showed that respect. We'll always be looked after. Our spirituality is, through this dance, is woven into our everyday life, because the meaning of this songline is actually taken from an old church hymn, and that those words are, God is moving by His Spirit. My grandmother, she loved that song so much, she translated it into a language. The dance was never created for it until now, in my generation, where we could actually share this message with the rest of our family and the people we are in front of, wherever we go. Because Yarrabah lives with us in our country, and there's many names that he goes by in many different nations. He is there, he is real, and he is with us no matter where we go. And that's what this departing song for us, in the translation, this is what it means for us, that even though we go, we carry him. He's always with us. Today, we are far from home, from our home, and we thank the traditional owners and landowners from this area. We thank you for the invitation, for allowing us to be here, to share our history and our story, and our dance and our song. We never say goodbye in our language. We say garu, that's by and by, until later, because we may see you again. We hope to see you again. So this last dance, mulan gatan. Garu nyundu wawal. See you later.
I'm sure there are things that people want to say. But just to quickly thank you so much for bringing your histories, your family stories, your collective resilience and custodianship that's been passed down from one generation to the next. And thank you for being a good custodian for the next generations and for bringing the essence of your people and your lands to share with us. We're so grateful. Thank you all, family. Yeah. Do you guys want to come up? We want to give you something. Sorry, I'm going to make you stand awkwardly up here while people ask you questions. So yeah, does anyone have any questions for Nathan?
Thank you. Can you tell us about the paint and what that means?
Yes, yes. Our traditional paint that we use is, in language we call it ngudju, yeah, and it's an earth clay. You can hear that starting to feed back. It's an earth, comes from the earth, yeah, in our riverbeds and creeks. Yeah. Our markings that we use, if I can borrow one of my sons, got it. The markings that we use, these ones here across the chest, my grandmother said, we as Bama Gunggandji, we must wear these at all times because it signifies who we are and where we're from. These particular marks across the chest here signify that in the old times, that we've all come through law. Yeah, because before colonisation, those marks were physical scars across the body. Yeah. And the more that you had across the body, the more knowledge about law and customs that you had. I know in our people, it would start with these three. Yeah. And that was the first stage of going through law. Yeah. As for the females, this particular design here refers to what we call bukol. It's a lawyer cane. And for us, this is a very useful plant that we have in our communities, used for many, many different things. Before coming to Toronto, I had to look up customs to see what we could bring in the country. Unfortunately, our headdresses that we have are made from this, and we couldn't bring them. But another one of the uses of lawyer cane is the weaving of our baskets, and they're quite large. Yeah, but also things like eel traps and everyday implements that can be used. Yeah. This other design here on my son, thank you, daughter. This other design here on my son, this also represents where we are from, specifically. And because of the two clan groups that we have, Gurugulu and Gurubana, it would be signified differently by two different colours. Yeah. Gurugulu would usually wear the red and the either red or yellow, wuba or marka, which we call, and Gurubana would use bugal and badal, so the white, natural white, and then mixing charcoal to make black. Yeah.
All right, all the way at the back. Thanks for meeting me.
I'm wondering how music and dance impact the way that you live from day to day.
So, like I said when I was sharing, the first proper imprint Balawupi left on me of great significance was the teaching of the dance. But it wasn't just the actual dance itself, it was the way in which we were taught. It was all about the seriousness of every single action within that dance had meaning. The way in which we painted up had meaning. The meaning of the actual dance itself, which led to the creation stories. And when we learn about those creation stories, we learn about who these people are and our connection to them. And we learn about how did they live their life and what did they teach and how did they teach. And so all of that comes through the learning of that particular dance of Damari. I guess if I can explain it a bit more, Guyala and Damari, the two brothers, in our, the way that story is told is the two brothers, they were both good, but one made life easy for our people and one made life difficult for our people. Not to say that one was good and one was bad, because we know, walking through our life today, some days are good, some days are hard. So the teaching behind that was, when we learn that, we are taught that through those two brothers, we don't look at life, we look at life that some days are going to be good. And that goes back to our link with Guyala, and that some days will be challenging. And that is because the influence of Damari in our life. And so little things like that, that we picked up being taught that dance and being taught that songline, and the way in which we move our bodies and the way in which we display that dance to the public. It's those little things that are taught along the way that control how I live my life today. For example, you know, when Balawupi spoke, nobody spoke. All of us kids were silent. We had to listen, you know. So that's why even today, if I'm in a room, elders are speaking, I don't talk, I listen. Because I know they've got more knowledge than me. I'm a learner in this conversation, and I will remain silent unless I'm asked to speak. Yeah. I hope that answers the question.
Hakapuaki, e hononga, e hanga ana koe, I pānaki tō whānau, tō hitsuri, tō whakapapa. Ai, tēnei te mihi ki a koe. Tēnei te mihi anō, ki ngā tangata moimoi a tēnei te mihi ki a rātou, ki a koutou. He menhi nui, I runga I te ingoa tapu, I tō tātou kaihaka ora. Kaya bunda. Tēnei te mihi, tēnei te mihi, tēnei te mihi. Kia ora, bro. Thank you so much for sharing. First of all, the gifts from your ancestors with us. Even though I come from your neighbouring country, in New Zealand, we don't learn enough about, as we call you, our grandparents. We do not learn enough about the people that have warmed the lands for a millennia in the so-called Australia. And so I tupo ana ahau ki a koe. I bow my head to you in reverence and in thanks. So thank you for sharing about your matriarchal line, but thank you also for sharing about the re-indigenization process of learning your mother tongue. And I wanted to ask you a question about that. So last year I took a year off of my PhD with NAIITS to go and learn my language that was taken from my grandmother. And I know that you've talked a little bit about that. I just wanted to know if you had any stories about that process, because the dual process of re-indigenizing and decolonizing is one that I feel in this space is going to do nothing but encourage that. So I just wanted to ask if you had any stories or lessons or, things from that you wanted to share.
Yeah.
Kia ora.
No worries. Good question. How long you got? Now, look, if I can keep it as short as possible, because it's a long story, I made mention in the presentation that I was in my first year, in my probably second or third year of doing a teaching degree when that question popped into my mind. And it just triggered something within me to want to know more. And so I searched the university library on anything they had, because it's local to Cairns, our area, asked them whatever they had. I need everything on Gunggay Language. There were some things there. Anyone who knows, who's done research, you start to find out all these truths and all these hidden histories, that's happened to our peoples. And so that was all taken on board and directly taken back to our elders to ask, is this good? Is this bad? What is this? Have you seen this? What's the language? Any stories connected to this? And so that was the start of it. From there, just went to the next library. I said, "What? You've got everything? Showed me everything?" Yes. Went to the next library, and they said, "Go to Townsville." So I asked them, and after I went through all their records, where else can I go? And they said, "Go to Brisbane." So I went to Brisbane, and then from there, I said, "Where else can I?" I just kept asking, "Where else? Where are all these records? Why are they stored there?" I said, "This is all my birthright. Why is it here?" And so it eventually led to me becoming a teacher and going back to my community to become a classroom teacher. But at the end of that first year, I was asked, because the school knew of my passion for language revitalisation, they asked if I wanted to establish a program within the school for our karikari, for our children. And so we built that from the ground up with the help of our elders. And told them that the school is offering this position, but we are in control. And I told the school, I said, "You want us to do this program, you go away and let us build it." And which they did. So in that area, we were kind of blessed. And still to this day, I tell them, I said, everything of this program belongs to the community. I said, it's not even mine, it belongs to the community. I said, so you can't ask me for any of it. And if anyone who knows the work in schools, if you're using school property, it becomes school property. Like if you're working on the computer, it belongs to the education department. I told them, go away. It's not yours. Even though I'm using your computer, I said, that's not your knowledge, it's our knowledge. Yeah. It was in my wife actually went to University of Sydney to do a master's in zoology, and while she was there, she saw a course which was called Masters of Indigenous Languages in Education, and it was a course set up for Indigenous teachers who had teaching degrees to go and relearn their language from their community, from their area, using research documents or local knowledge to build a program for their communities. I kind of did things in reverse. I had 4 years or 5 years of doing stuff in the community, and then I heard about the course. Went and did it, loved it. It was hard, but loved it, and all that information now is all that academic knowledge is being brought back to our community. So yeah, I've been home now for, this is my 13th year back in Yarrabah, and from the ground, we've built this program that covers prep or kindy up to year 10, so about 15-year-olds. Yeah, because that's all we offer in our community, and then the older kids, senior years, have to go in town school. Yeah. But yeah, we'll yarn, brother, if you want to learn more, and hear more, because like I say, we can talk for hours.
So just once again, whānau, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing all that you have shared, and for bringing a revelation of Creator that is unique to you and to the people of Yarrabah. We're really grateful, and bless you on the rest of your time here and your travels. And I hope. Okay, we're just going to give you guys some gifts, but thanks again. Just give them a round of applause, everybody.
What a way to have our last presentation. Thank you so much. As Nathan had one daughter that was going to come and present and then asked about the whole family, I was like, yes, yes. This is what hearing the voices of the matriarchs and women in community is about. The legacy of our children and our families in our community. So I thought it was a perfect way to conclude this. So thank you so much, and for the recommendation of our dear family and friends, the Minnekans, in that and making this possible. Appreciate it. We are going to be going outside for our closing ceremonies, but before we do, I have a couple announcements. One is, and my husband told me to do this, is to pull out your phone, if you have a phone. Find your calendar. For 2026, for June 5 to 7, and put in your calendar NAIITS Symposium 2026. And I got the date I got the date wrong. 4 to 6. June 4 to 6. And it will be at Acadia Divinity College on the campus of Acadia University in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. I hear they have some good hospitality out there. And the theme we will be exploring is being a good ancestor, delving into the responsibilities we hold as ancestors to our future generations, reflecting on how our choices today shape the world of tomorrow. And so I put that out there for those of you that want to start thinking and praying about your proposals. We appreciate it. And as you've seen here, we have theoreticians and practitioners. We have elders and families presenting. So that's a beautiful thing about our NAIITS Symposium. I am so thankful for each one of you that has come. And I do want to express a few special gratitudes, if we can have that slide up there. We want to recognize the present, oh, that's not the right slide. Is it going to make us go through all this? We're going to go outside for a group photo after the closing ceremonies, yes. I do want to give some thanks, and I'm going to start actually with our IT guys in the back. They have done a phenomenal job, haven't they? I do want to, I'm just going to make it up because they're still finding the slide. I want to thank our presenters that have presented and prepared the marketplace presentations, the more global ones. Thank you. You have enriched us deeply, and the knowledge that you have shared, we will continue to reflect on and treasure. I want to thank our elders and the Board of Indigenous Pathways, but our founding elders especially. So Terry and Adrian, if I could get you to stand. I don't know if Cheryl's around. But just to acknowledge your dream and vision that is now being lived out. Thank you so much. I want to thank those that have been working diligently with translation. Some of you may be sitting beside somebody that has worked for translation. We know how much that takes, and so thank you for being willing to do that. The Symposium committee, the logistics, all of this, trust me, I could never do all this on my own. And there's such a great team that has come around. And so thank you to each one of you. From the registration table to putting up and setting down, we really appreciate. And for the part of that is even selecting who is presenting this year, because we had an overwhelming number of presentations, and to weave through those and select ones that we wanted to share with our global community was a difficult task, but we pray that it was deeply impactful for you. Tyndale University and Seminary, our dear friends, Beth and Marjorie are here, and others that are part of the seminary and university. Thank you so much for hosting us and hosting us well, and all the logistics that go into that. We appreciate your presence and support and ongoing friendship. The editors and contributors of the NAIITS Journal, which I'm hoping if you don't have a copy, you will get a copy of the NAIITS Journal. The faculty, staff, and board of NAIITS, an Indigenous learning community, iEmergence, and Indigenous pathways. Can I just get the faculty and staff, all those, just to stand up, and the board, stand up. Just want you to see how many we have. And some are a little shy because they think I already stood up, so I don't need to stand up again. But and to our NAIITS community, all of you, in person and online, that continue to invest, continue to support, continue to bring others into our community, because together we can decolonize. Together we bring transformation. Together we are stronger. And so thank each one of you and the investment that you made, not only in time, but in getting yourselves here. It's not always easy, and we recognize in today's climate, it means saving a lot of those little things that they call pennies or money to rub together. And so we thank you so much for investing in that. And continue to ask that you would not only support the symposium, but the ongoing education of our students. And so if there are those here today that want to continue to invest in the lives of our students, we do have scholarship funds that go directly to our students. But also, if you want to just support NAIITS in general, we are always very appreciative of any of that support. So thank you so much. With that in mind, we are going to go outside for closing ceremonies. And if you go downstairs to the dining hall and then out to the teepee.